Happy Thursday, guys. I was sitting there going to myself, what is today for a second? But it is Thursday, and as you guys see by the name of the video, I've got the thumbnail up. It says Live Silver Updates with Bonnie. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that cute little thumbnail of us looking our best, and there we are. Hi, Bonnie. Welcome.
Hi. Hi.
I
Thanks.
appreciate Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to do this because you've never done this with me yet, and we have been in business together for almost 4 years.
Yeah, I know. I'm super excited.
Somebody's trying to call me. I'll tell you who it is too. It's kind of funny. Somebody's trying to call me that's asking about gold and silver. Have you been having a lot of inquiries lately now that we've had this crazy squeeze?
Everybody wants to buy gold and silver. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're saying, "Am I too late to do it, or do you still have any?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we do, via the Sound Money wallet."
I
and
know. They're
and
all
some
saying, "What do you
collectibles.
have to sell me?" I'm like, "Well, I don't have it to sell you, but 7K
Yeah,
Metals does."
I'm not selling my stacks. You can be rest assured I am not doing that. But one of the things that you are known for with this company in particular, and we'll get to how you started with the company of 7K Metals. I think that's really important because she's the reason I started, but we'll get to that. But you one of the what you were known for, especially in the beginning, was you had just tons of stacks, and you had a nice. Nobody knows where she lives, by the way. She doesn't keep it at home anyway, even if you did. But you had tons of stacks on your, and you would put it out on the table, and you took a picture, and it's just one of the coolest pictures. And they put it in one of our first ever what they call the vault report, which is a report of real people in the business and how they're doing and everything, and a little bit of their story. And so there you were sitting with this huge table. Well, this table wasn't the table was pretty big, but this table full of silver. So before you were even in 7K Metals, did you ever own silver?
Not one single ounce. Not one single ounce. I'd never purchased any silver or gold before I joined 7K Metals. My husband had purchased a lot of silver. He bought silver coins for his kids every Christmas, but I had never purchased anything, and it was pretty exciting. I kind of went crazy for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. But aren't you glad you did now? Because there's
Oh my
nothing
God.
to buy.
No, I'm so excited. I love it. I actually, during the whole shutdown and COVID thing, when we were all stuck at home, I actually pulled everything out of my safe and inventoried it. And I'd never really done that
Mm-hmm.
before. I just kept throwing it in there. And then I was like moving it to other places and moving everything around. And I was like, I think I gotta have an inventory of what I have where and what's going on here. And it was fun. It was
My
really fun.
dad did that for me and him because we keep a safe together, and he inventoried which ones were his and which ones were mine. And then he's kind of old school, so he wrote down all the identification numbers for all his slabs, whereas I put it into NGC, a lot of them. Not my new
Hmm.
ones, I need to do that, but if you put those identification numbers into NGC, they actually attach that coin as to being yours. And I'm not saying as an insurance coverage, but it's one of the ways I keep track of my slabs and identification number. But my question for you to that I know the answer to, but other people don't know you yet, is how did you get into this business then if you weren't buying gold and silver?
Yeah, I actually was working at a place right near my house, and one of my former employees, she worked with me for a while. We became really good friends. And one night she came in to see me, and she's like, "Okay, you got to see this. You got to see what I'm doing." And she dumped some coins in my hand, and it was her first purchases that she'd made. And she's like, "You got to do this." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." And she kept at me, and I was like, "All right, I'll do it." And so I grabbed my membership, and then I started purchasing silver. I mean, and it was cool. When I got my first couple pieces of silver, I was like, "Okay, this is cool. Like, it's really cool." And so that was in April of 2017 is when I joined, and then you were shortly after that. So, and
Yeah.
I actually you at the same establishment actually, and I think I was trying to figure that out before we got started because we both joined in 17. Me in April, you in May, I think.
Mm-hmm.
May, yeah, May,
It was May.
and I feel like we knew each other about a year before that.
Yep.
I'm not sure.
Probably at least because I worked down the street. So the way we knew each other is I worked down the street at a Harley Davidson motorcycle place, and I sold motorcycles. And I got, it was really fun. I got really good at knowing bikes. And before I started, I didn't even always know the difference between a Harley and a not Harley. In fact, that was the game my husband used to play with me. He'd say, Harley or not Harley? And I'm like, Harley. So he didn't even try to get me to guess the kind of Harleys we were looking at. But after working there, I was like, wow, not only do I definitely know the difference between a Harley and a not Harley, I knew the differences between all the types of Harleys and sold them. And since it was so close to that wine place, I would go down, and I don't work there anymore. I got fired, so it doesn't really matter. But I'd go down and have a glass of wine near the end of my shift. And I'd come down there at like 4 or 5, and I'd have a glass of wine and then go just spend an hour doing nothing at work. And that's how I got to know you, is because I would come down there pretty regularly and have a glass of wine and go back to work, because I just love, I've always been a wine person. And I used to do wine tastings, and I used to go to like vineyards and do all the tasting thing. Been to the Finger Lakes and done wine tasting. So I just loved that little place. I was like, this place is fun. It's quiet. One glass of wine in the afternoon, head back to work. It just made it seem a lot easier, because selling motorcycles wasn't the most fun job, but it was an
Yeah,
experience.
I remember those days. You'd come in and maybe have a little cheese and salami, and
Oh yeah,
we just
yeah.
chit chat about life. And a lot of times, I think it was Tempranillo was one of your faves back in
It
the day.
was.
Yeah, yeah. So and then we just got to know each other as you're my customer, and then getting to know each other a little more, and then I got into 7K Metals in April, and I think you came in to the winery one night with a box of another product from another business, and you were going to have a little party at the winery and have
Mm-hmm.
some people show up, and it was your mom and I think one other person.
Yep.
I was like, all right. So I'm like, so this is what I'm doing. You want to hear about it? And I remember telling you about it. And, we talked a little bit about the finances and what it cost you to get into the other business versus what it cost you to get into 7K Metals. And so you did it. And it's kind of history from there. I mean, we've been kind of rocking and rolling ever since.
Yeah, I'll elaborate my side of the story. I had just spent
Yeah.
I had just spent $700 to get into Rodan and Fields, which I'm not complaining about. I knew what I was doing, and I bought $700 worth of product. But this was supposed to be one of those like parties where you go, "Hey everybody, I'm doing this business, and come out and try it, and let them like try on the creams." So I guess you couldn't do that today because everybody'd freak out, but let them put this stuff on their hands. It's a not a makeup line, it's a skincare product is what it is, and I still use it to this day. And I have signed up two other people but I don't push the business at all. So I'm still what you call a consultant to this day for Rodan and Fields. But I'm sitting there with this box of $700 worth of stuff, and you look at me and you're like, "What's this?" Because you're just so like to the point. Like, you weren't rude, but you're just so to the point. You're like, "What's all this stuff?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll tell you what, I just bought into this business for $700, and I was seeing a guy who borrowed $600 from me who was never going to pay me back. I found out that day that the guy was cheating on me, and he broke up with me to go be with that gal. And I'm like, so I hope no one shows up." And you're like, "Oh, well, you should do what I'm doing." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Is she serious?" And so my mom remembers it too, because we were just talking about it. But the great thing was, is you were serious, and you didn't do it because man, if the tables were turned, I don't think I'd have had the guts after somebody just was out $1,300 to say, "You should do my business." Because I remember thinking, "Fine, Bonnie, what is it? Tell me what it is." Because whatever. I mean, I think I was just in such a mood where I was like, I just need to hear about it, whatever. I had no clue why I should care about gold and silver. Even after you sat me down with Colleen, so it was me and you and another gal named Colleen that introduced me fully, and we had a nice sit down, and they explained the business. I just didn't grasp why I should care about gold and silver, but I did know how to do some network marketing. And so I'd say the first 6 months I signed people up just by kind of strong arming them and talking their ears off.
Mm-hmm.
But when you and I went to Idaho Falls in December was when it really clicked for me. And I've told people that story, but I tell you what, Bonnie, you did me a huge favor to introduce a business to me on what could have been one of the worst days of my life, and you weren't afraid to do that, and that's huge. People
Yeah,
could take a
it
page out
was.
of that book.
Yeah, it was a rough day. I remember that, and I was just like, and to me, and now I reflect back, and we talk about 7K Metals a lot about how it's a people helping people business, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I was like, I think she could do this, and I think she could make money at this, and and because I remember asking you at the winery, what did you pay for that box? And what
Mm-hmm.
did you pay to join that company? And at that time, we had, what was ours? 249
Mm-hmm.
was our lowest membership at that time to actually run the business. And we talked about that. And I said, you know what? I'll help you. Let's just go. Like, let's just try it. And we've literally been going strong for, it'll be 4 years in April for me and 4 years in May for you.
I know it's
Yeah, it's
crazy to
cool.
think about 4 years too, and in that time, you've you've done very well in the business. Do you mind explaining to people kind of you're what's called a bronze in the company? Do you mind just explaining? I hate to say sorry, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
think. Explain if you don't mind explaining without. I don't want you to get too detailed. I don't think you'll get too detailed, but I don't want you to feel like you need to get too detailed. But that's been a big deal for you because by becoming bronze, you've been you've been on stage, you've been on a lot of phone calls with people. You do a lot. Would you just tell us what that involves? All the work that you do to help people that you actually enjoy doing?
Yeah, right. Well, I'll go back to the beginning. So I got my membership in April and I had buyer's remorse. I was like, what did I do? I got talked into this. And then I started seeing these points come up to my system. And I contacted my sponsor and I said, hey, I said, well, I guess I had my membership for a year. I might as well try. And about 3 weeks later, so I'd already brought you in. And then I told my husband about it, and he's like, well, I want to buy gold and silver. I might as well buy it from there versus the pawn
Right.
shop or whatever. So he got in. And then I told my mom about it, and she got in. And then I was trying to help my kid. So I was like, you should try this. So I got my kid in. And then my best friend in Washington, well, 3 weeks later, my sponsor's calling me and she says, you're on the leaderboard. And I
Hmm.
said, leaderboard for what? She says, yeah, there's a contest going on. Well, at the end of the contest, so the two women that I was in the top three with, so the woman that won is a silver in the company, soon to be gold, and has made seven figures in other companies. She's been on stage. She's a major trainer, Diane Graber. She was number one. I was number two in the contest,
That's
and my
awesome.
sponsor was number three. So, in fact, this necklace that I have on, because I was in the top 10, it's a 1/10 ounce gold Liberty. I won this necklace when I got to go to Idaho Falls for winning, being in the top three of that contest. So I got to go down the Snake River and go fishing with all the co founders and met everybody, got to go to dinner at Roger Ball's house, which is one of our financial backers and co founders of the company. And I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. So, I mean, I just kept sharing it and kept sharing it. And, it's not that hard to be an associate with the company to where you can actually earn commissions because you can buy your membership and just buy gold and silver if you choose, but you just have to get two people to join you in the business and you're eligible to earn commissions. And so that's kind of was crazy for me. Once I had, and then it was just family members and it was friends, and then I started really working the business. So yeah, it's been pretty crazy for me. I do like it, and I did rank up to bronze, which is the third level up from the bottom. Basically, there's a lot more ranks today, but
Right.
yeah, but I think the thing is it's a company. It is about helping people because you can't go up the ranks or earn more money without helping the people below you, and so you help each other and you work together. And I've done a corporate call for 3 years now, every Thursday morning at 11 o'clock. And man, back in the day, we'd do that call and we were scared to death. We were just
Right.
taking notes and what are we going to say and how are we going to do it and what do we talk about. And now, literally, we're on the call 5 minutes before it starts and we just go. Like it's just second nature to us. We've learned so much. So,
You say how it's a business of helping others, and I think they probably had that in mind. I mean, I don't know what their brains exactly were going through, but I think they had that in mind because the way you rank up is you have to help people that signed up with you also rank up too. And what rank up means is to earn more income in the business. So like I'm at a place where I can earn $1,000 a week, but that's all I can earn. So if I have somebody that just knows 100 people that literally would sign up with them, I'd be blowing a lot of money that'd go. I wouldn't be able to make more, and I'd flush all the rest of it because I don't get to make any more than $1,000 a week, and that's it. So if I have someone that comes in and does that, I got to be like, okay, I gotta get myself ranked up and help. How do I do that? I got to help other people do that. And so if I don't help my team rank up, I don't rank up. And that's, I think some people miss that. I think they miss the point of that. I think some people look at that and go, that's really tough. And it's not that it's hard. It's a simple idea. It's a simple way to do it. But what's hard is people don't see how that helps themselves to help other people sometimes. I mean, I'm at a place anymore, I don't even share my own link. I share everybody else's. And that's really kind of how could get to, because if I'm sharing their links and I'm getting people for them, then I can stay actively buying things or, purchasing stuff to keep myself active, because we have certain items that if we purchase them, they keep us actively earning income. So either sign people up or you buy something that helps you stay active earning income. And so anyway, that's what I do now is I just share everybody else's. So I think we had 4 signups this week, and 3 of them were not with me. 3 of them were with my downline. So, and it's not just me. I'm not saying me giving out their website is the only reason these people signed up, but it's the fact that we work together, willing to give somebody else's link, willing to say, here, just go, go with Doc Michael, or go with Justine, go with Rockman and these guys, or go with Anthony. And that's how we help each other in this team effort. And I know you've done that. You've done that to help me, and you've done that to help a lot of people, which is why you've made it to bronze.
Yeah. Well, and I love helping people. And I know, and it's interesting, just this role reversal of before, you and I were meeting for coffee and I was pumping you up and, trying to keep you motivated and all that stuff and helping you out and, making sure that, everything was great with you and things were going well. And then, we go through this whole COVID thing, and I was very grateful for this business because,
Yeah.
When we couldn't go out and meet with people personally, I was still making money. And then all of a sudden, it's like it just kind of went through a lull. And then now the silver prices and everything are just nuts. And so everybody's just on fire again for gold and silver. And so now, like, you're like, hey, come be on my channel. And I'm like, never done that before. So glad to be here. Thank you.
We could have done that. And what's funny is somebody got mad. I was still on Twitter, and somebody was like, anyone get a raise when everything shut down? And I was like, yes. Yeah. Like, I had a whole bunch of people. When we first had the shutdown, I think I had like 6 people in 2 weeks or something sign up, because they are, here's the thing, and you know why they did that, Bonnie? Not because they'd never heard of me before and my name just popped up out of nowhere. It was because these were people I had talked to over the years. These are people that I had mentioned it to, and they were like, oh, maybe now's the time. And just today I got a message from somebody that said, am I too late to buy in? And I've been talking to this guy since I joined the company. In fact, I might have been talking to him, I think, when I was still with Herbalife, which was before Rodan and Fields. So I think I've been talking to this guy for probably 4 years, because that was when I was into the fitness stuff. When you do Herbalife, you got to post fitness pictures and you got to be all about fitness and everything. And so I was doing that. And this guy was into fitness, and I'm thinking, isn't that funny that today is the day he goes, okay, maybe I really need to do this. I'm like, great. And you know what? It's not too late, because we do still have Silver Eagles and Gold Eagles, right, Bonnie?
Right. Yes, we do, which nobody else really does right now. So we're feeling special.
Yeah, and the way we do that, right, is only for members. You have to be a member to buy them, because you can't just go to the products page and see them. And so I think that's why people don't believe me when I tell them, because they go to the products page and they say, well, it looks like you're out of everything. But this is by way of a Sound Money wallet, that you buy the gold and silver. As a member, they'll put it in a vault for you for free. You can either cash it back to cash, or you can have them ship your physical, or you can move it between gold and silver. But either way, they're protecting it with the Lloyd's of London. They've got armed security, and they're telling us there's no max. I don't know if you realize, but APMEX and JM Bullion put a max of $300. You can't buy more than $300 of gold and silver through their company right now.
Which isn't even a roll of Silver Eagles. A roll of Silver Eagles is like $735. So you can't even buy a tube of Silver Eagles for what their cap is right now. It's crazy. Well, and I was looking today when I was thinking about, getting on here today. I was like, I'm going to go back and look. And I pulled up some things from the past. And in 2017, when we joined 7K Metals, the average price for silver for the year, not just when we joined,
Mm-hmm.
was $17.17, I think. Then the average price in 2018 dropped to $15.81 for silver. So that was the average for the whole year. And now we've been rocking between $22 to $29 an ounce for 2020. I mean, it's crazy.
And it's been higher up around 28 for quite a while because I've watched it. Cause I'm like, geez, my $14 an ounce silver that I bought is now double, but I'm still
Yeah,
not going to sell it.
uh, yeah. Well, because when my sponsor, she was at a show in Las Vegas in, I believe, 18. So the price of silver was a little lower, but a monster box um, at 7K Metals was $8,800, and he was buying
Mm-hmm.
through his own supplier and broker, and it was $500 more than what we had it at. So he bought it. Well, a monster box the last time I looked was over $18,000.
Golly.
That's nuts.
It is crazy to think about, but what you and I know is that the silver is still way underpriced and way undervalued and way misunderstood because for it to be even in the $20 an ounce range, it should probably be more like around $900 an ounce or maybe more. If you compare it, there was a guy I was watching and he was comparing it to a day's work back in the day when they paid him like as a dime of silver. I don't have the math in front of me, so you can either believe me or not. But his by his calculations, it would be about $960 an ounce. But you see, some of these guys are saying they think it's going to be right up there where gold is. But when, we don't know, and
Right.
I won't be able to buy very much when it's at that price.
No, no, and I think the general thought process with buying silver and gold is, some people are like, well, do you only buy when it's low, or do you buy? And I think you buy all the time. You buy when it's low, you
Yes.
buy when it's high, and then you have an average, just like a yearly average for what the spot price was. Um, uh, we were talking about the establishment where we met at the winery, and the owner of the winery, he started purchasing small fractionals of gold when he was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he does well. He owns a winery. He's getting ready to sell it to his kids, and financially he's fine. But he had some gold pieces he showed me the other night, and he pulled them out of his pocket, and he had 5 1-ounce golds. Well, gold at that time was about 1900 the other day when we were
Mm-hmm.
talking. And he said, I didn't pay more than $500 an ounce for this gold. And so that's huge, and he's like, this is pretty cool. Now he was going to sell it to buy a boat, so I'm not exactly sure what that thought process was, but I guess he just didn't want to own, and he's thinking gold isn't going to go more than $2,000, and he's making a great profit on it. I mean, he's making
Sure.
600 or $1,500 an ounce over what he paid for it when he bought it. So he was fine with parting with the gold to buy the boat, and the boat seller was thrilled with having the gold, like
Right.
thrilled. My gold necklace just fell off my neck.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just interesting, and
You have bad luck with necklaces.
oh, right. What's up with that? I never lose anything. All of a sudden lately, everything's breaking. Oh yeah, it did like totally break. Well, all right.
what
Guess
you
I'm done.
mentioned what you mentioned there is a free market where it's a peer-to-peer transaction and both benefit from that transaction. If only we could have that with everything, but we are generally forced to use the dollar, the paper currency. And you make a good point. And well, I think you were making this point, so if you weren't, forgive me, but not to think so much about the dollar value, but to remember that the gold and silver is the money, and that unless you need or want something, and he wants the boat, so that works. Unless you need
Hmm.
or want something, probably don't turn it back into cash anytime soon.
Right.
Someone in the chat saying don't buy paper silver. I think he said, "Oh, don't buy paper silver." Yeah, and that is a big, huge thing that people are doing right now, Bonnie. Which is why we're having this issue that we're having with the silver.
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't, and one of the owners of our company, Josh Anderson and Zach, actually have both made a comment to me when I was sitting around a table talking to them back in the day where we were a smaller company and we could like have lunch with the owners. But he was like, if you can't walk on it, you can't hold it in your hand, it's scary because you might not own it.
Yeah.
And so it's like the paper thing is, and we all know the dollar's worth nothing today with, inflation and all that. So I don't know. I like having my silver in my hand
Yeah,
a lot.
and you have a lot of it. In fact, your safe is just a little bit bigger than mine.
Yeah. Yeah, I like, and I like it. And it's funny though, when I was thinking, like, people don't know what to buy. And so they're like, they'll go to a coin shop or they have their grandpa's coin that was passed down to them from the ages, right?
Right.
A lot of it's silver dollars or stuff that
Hmm.
isn't pure 0.999 silver. But I think what I've really done in the last 6 months is I bought a lot of fractionals.
Yes, me too.
I love half ounce
Yep.
coins. I just think they're fabulous. They're great. And like they say, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? A digital world or the economy or whatever. And it's great. Those 100-ounce bars are really cool to hold on to, but you can't break off a piece of it and buy something with it. So if you have fractionals and you needed to do it, you could do that. And I actually have paid for a lot of things with just pure silver.
Yep.
You know, Yep, and it's great, and people love it. Or give it as a gift or a tip or something, and it's like it's the real deal, and you get people to understand that it's different than that green paper money we have.
Which is why people are scared of, or let's say not scared, maybe trepidatious or a little bit. Sometimes they're like, I don't know about this sound money wallet. But what I explain to people is what looks digital to you is physically being stored in a vault for free. People like Mike Maloney and Peter Schiff and those guys, they put their gold and silver in a vault. Now, maybe they've got like maybe they're such big guys that they don't have to pay that vault, but I don't ever hear them advertising for a particular vault, so I'm not sure that's the case. They might have to pay, but as I understand it, it's $15 to $25 a month for vault fees, and so our vault is free and it is
Mhm.
protected, and so it is gold and silver is being put in that vault, and then you can choose to have it shipped to you whenever you want. And then somebody said, well, what if everything goes down and nobody can ship anything or do anything? I said, well, then I'll drive to Idaho and I'll get it because I know where
Yeah,
they are.
that's what I think too. Okay, it's 5.5 hours from Billings, Montana. We can drive to Idaho Falls and either put stuff in the vault or take stuff out of the vault. Um, and like the big buyers, they're storing it at some vault. Is it a private vault or is it something that can be taken over anyway? Where our vault
Right.
is a private vault and
That's a
it
good
can't be
point.
taken over by anybody. And so,
Great
yeah,
point.
they can put their stuff in all these big, the vault that we used originally in 7K Metals for people outside the country or people that didn't have a vault of their own or a safe was in Delaware, I believe. But it was not a private vault and it could be taken over by others,
Yeah,
and our fault cannot be taken over by anyone. So,
that
and
is a super good point.
yeah, it's a huge deal, and especially to have a private vault that doesn't cost you anything for certain items, and they have all different sizes. I mean, well, you were at the regional. We went on a tour of this new facility in Idaho Falls, and we didn't even get to go see the vault. Like it was so high security. Every door you went through, less people were allowed to go through those doors.
Right.
And we didn't get it. I wanted to go see the vault. I wanted to
Hmm.
see it in person.
Open it
None
up
of us
and let
were,
me play in the like
yeah,
Scrooge McDuck. I want to play in the gold.
yep. None of us were allowed to even see it
Not
personally,
happening.
see it on a video.
Yeah.
So it's pretty high security. And, I think in the beginning, I didn't understand the sound money wallet. I didn't understand the vault. And then when I was for sure and guaranteed that every dime of silver or gold that I bought was physically backed in that vault, it's kind of a no-brainer. It really
Yep.
is. Like it's a cool deal. Yeah.
Well, and okay, so the same thing applies that you put your gold and silver in a vault, and then if you want cash, you're selling it back to them. So you sell at the buyback prices just like you would if you shipped them silver and gold and you had them buy back, which has been an option for people to be able to do. Or you can go to your local coin shop, but that's why they'll send physical too. So it's to me kind of a no-brainer when nobody else can sell gold and silver eagles much, or if they are selling them, you're maxed out at $300. And what's really weird is they increased right before they maxed out how much you could buy. They increased their minimums. So it was no longer 50 to get the discount at like Atmex or Jane Bullion. You had to buy 100 to get the discount. And I think it wasn't until you bought 500 that their price actually came anywhere close to ours. So even still, we're beating other people's prices, and we're not maxing out at $300 a purchase.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think since the beginning of time, I mean, you use your brain and you say, okay, well, I want to buy silver. Well, if you're going to buy some silver, you're not going to buy one coin, but you can. But why would you buy one coin and pay shipping for one coin? Like, you're going to buy quantities of coins, but you're not limited to how few you can buy or how many you can buy,
Right.
which is great.
So would you, now that you've been a part of 7K Metals, even if they totally did something that upset you beyond belief, would you look back and say they did something to change your life for the better?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the thing that's crazy is um I'd never done any type of network marketing, and I never had any desire to do it, and I didn't think I could do it. And I think I go back to the first 6 months I was in 7K Metals, and I got asked to do a presentation in front of a group of
Right.
25 people. And I was sweating bullets. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to do it. I was reading off a book. And I went from that girl to actually being on stage in Miami,
Right.
where I had to give a presentation in front of over 500 people on a stage with slides and the microphone and the whole 9 yards. And I
That
tell
freaks
you,
me
I,
out.
I had to pull a lot of courage. Well, actually, courage was a word that year, but I mean, I was scared to death, and I've actually been called up on stage several times prior to that, but that's the first time where they said, "Okay, you have 15 minutes, and we'd like you to do this." And I was like, 4 years ago, I couldn't have done it. I don't think I was just not okay. But the people, I think, and the other thing too is I got into 7K Metals early when we were really
Right.
small.
Right.
And so when I won that competition that first couple of months and they were launching the company in July of 2017, I actually got to go sit at picnic tables in a backyard with all of the co-founders
Yep.
and had conversations with them and heard stories from them and had their phone numbers and could
Yep.
text them. And it was a big, big deal. And I appreciate all of it. Yeah, it's changed my life in so many ways.
And these guys aren't like business suits, they wear cowboy boots, and they wear a nice jacket, but they're not like guys that come off of Wall Street. They're not untouchable by any means. In fact, you can ask Doc Michael. He went to the most recent um, event, and he's got to meet all the owners and then some. He met the co-founders, and he met Ray. I can't think of Ray's last name, but Ray is really knowledgeable in the financial sector of stuff.
Patterson.
I
Patterson.
think so. Yeah. Anyway, he's really knowledgeable in the financial sector and has made really good money in home-based business already before he ever joined 7K Metals. A guy to really look up to. I don't know if he met Tony Hubbard, but Tony Hubbard also a great guy that would help just about anybody in this whole business who is just gosh, if I could talk like that guy, And I remember the very first call I ever listened to, I was Tony Hubbard, and I hadn't met him, and I thought, oh my gosh, if I could just talk about the business like this guy. And what's great is it's not because he's slick or sly, it's because he just makes you it's fun. It's enjoyable to listen to him. He's got memorization skills that I don't think you and I will ever have. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And
But
he's very, very
yes,
passionate. He speaks from his heart for sure.
absolutely. And while I'm
Yeah.
at a place where I'm comfortable here, I'm not at a place where I would be comfortable getting on a stage. So you and I have very different skills, but just as important, I think. I think it's really important that you're able to get up there and talk about yourself and teach others how to do this in front of 500 people where I'm like, I like the camera. I'm good just little me right here."
Yeah. Yeah.
Much
Yeah.
easier.
The owner, our mantra, whatever for 7K Metals is we believe in you. That's what the company says to us all the time. And I have to tell you, I have seen at least 3 of the 5, maybe 4 out of the 5 main guys in this company actually shed a tear on stage or on a call or on our virtual regional we had last year. I mean, Roger Ball sheds a
Oh, I
tear.
know. He makes us all
Dax,
shed tears. We're like, oh,
yeah,
great. Roger's got a
yep,
story. Get your tissue out. Which, and
yep,
they're real stories. He's talking
yep.
about real life experiences.
Yeah, so compassionate and so real. And, you know, to think that these businessmen who have made millions of dollars in the network marketing space and retired, the two young guys retired, I think before they were 40,
Oh, I'm
to,
sure.
to come back into
Yep,
the space.
that's right. I forgot
What
about
they're
that.
doing for 7K Metals
Yep.
is they have a passion and they believe, and I think they really care. And I think, you know, you have to think of every new business that comes on board. I don't care what kind of business, not network marketing, any business that opens up. There's a lot of wrinkles in the beginning, and they had wrinkles in the beginning, and they have fought tooth and nails. And the stuff they've brought to us in the last year is amazing. The Sound Money Wallet, just all the stuff, the IRAs, I'm on the healthcare plan.
Healthcare. Yeah.
Oh, it saves me money. It's been
Glad you brought
tremendous.
that up.
I earn points from that. Every time I pay my premium, I get points. Well, points are dollars, so I get
That's
paid
a
back,
brilliant idea that they did that
and it's
because
great.
it's healthcare coverage. I don't know any. I there may be, but I don't know of another network marketing company that has healthcare coverage.
Not that I've heard of. No, no. And so the stuff that's changed in the 4 years I've been in the business, they're literally getting better every year. Every year they're striving to do something more and better. And yeah, I haven't done the IRA yet. I know many people that have, because it's also backed by physical gold and
Yeah.
silver. So you have your IRA for whatever 2,000 or 5,000, and it's physically backed by gold and silver. Now I don't know if they changed because before that was in the Delaware vault. I'm assuming it's now in the private vault. Would be my
Probably. That'd be a good
yeah.
question for the owners one of these times. And by the way, there is a Monday night call that is the corporate owners, or it's usually what is Blake's exact role?
He's the marketing director.
Marketing director. Okay, so Blake and the CEO Jason Arfman, and often Josh Anderson and Zach Davis will jump on there. These guys take time out of their day to help, like you said, with their phone numbers. I had Zach Davis' phone number. I still do. I don't really need to bug him much anymore, but I could. I used to be able to call him, text him, and he would help. So it's even as the business is growing, it still feels like a small company, and it surprises me how many people I'm like, wow. It's like I don't really miss the old days because I want the business to grow. We want more people to come in, but sometimes I'm like, man, remember when like everybody knew who I was because there was only like a couple hundred of us?
Yep, I remember that. Those
Yeah.
days, and days were fun, but I think for those of us that got in early, I think that just helps us believe a little more and helps us buy into the fact that, you know, we believe in them and they believe in us. And because of what we've been through and the growth that has happened and what it's changed our lives, we can share that with other people a lot easier now than we could 2, 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think that learning curve, if you think about it, it really does kind of like slowly move, but then when you hit that threshold of just understanding, it's become easier to just say, um, man, if you don't understand it, that's cool. Like, I'll move on. If you don't understand it, I gotta go. But also having the patience to try to explain it to people who don't understand it, because I'll be the first to admit that my patience threshold for that used to be next to nothing. And all, again, being honest, is why I started the YouTube channel, because I didn't want to just approach people in real life. I didn't want to just start tapping on shoulders in the supermarket or sit next to somebody in the airport bar and clink silver into their hands. That's just not me. I'm not that outgoing. And I
Yeah.
thought this would be a great way to reach people that might already think like me, and I wouldn't have to do as much explaining, and I wouldn't have to feel like I'm bugging them in their private, their own
Yeah.
private time or whatever.
Well, and I think prior to last March, um, we were just looking for like-minded people that either just wanted to buy gold and silver or they wanted to earn a residual income. But I think now it's kind of changed where there's a lot of people looking
Yeah,
for us instead of us just looking for them because
totally.
people are struggling and people are at home still. I mean, we're blessed by all blessings to actually live in Billings, Montana, where things are a little different. But my son was in LA and he actually was forced to leave there. It was so bad there, and he was so miserable. And he moved to Texas, where he's thrilled and happy. My other son was in Washington, where it all started, supposedly, and he just had everything shut down and changed careers.
Yeah.
And so I think, I think we're blessed to be here, but I think, sometimes we get caught up in the fact that we're a little more open here in
Yeah.
Montana. And there's still a lot of people that are struggling and really need to learn about gold and silver and learn how to make a little extra money. And not, it's work, but it's not so difficult, and it's not 10 hours a day.
Oh yeah. It's I make about $750 to $1,000 a month, but I am not putting in 8-hour shifts. Like I'm probably
Right.
not even close to 8-hour shifts, but it's enough to help me be home with my kids, and it certainly helps pay the bills, and we're comfortable because we also don't overdo. We don't go out and eat and do things like that and be crazy, but um, it's as far as what you said about people needing a job. When this first happened, and I said that to people, I said I've got a job. A few people got offended because they they think that it's a hoax or we're not real, like it's not a real career. And it is a real career, because how can you tell the guys that are making $10,000 a week that isn't a real career? You
Hmm.
can't say that. And also the fact that it covers your health care if you need it, and also it has an IRA, and also they'll vault your gold and silver for you, and also they'll train you how to do it. I mean, if you're, let's say let's say I signed up with you, just for an example, this isn't the case, but if I signed up with you and you didn't do anything to help me, the owners did. They created a bunch of videos that anyone can watch. They're not difficult. They're not that long. They're like 8 minutes a piece, at a time, so you can watch them just in increments, that tell you exactly how to talk to people, that explain how the business works. And then those brochures that they made, those are exactly how you would just talk to somebody. You would
Hmm.
just hang on. I muted that so you guys didn't have to hear that, and I apologize.
Good job, Mom. Good
Well, they
job.
were really fighting, so I didn't want to
Well,
have to yell at you through the headset.
Well, and I think the interesting thing is, if you approach 7K Metals as a business, and not just a hobby or whatever, if that's what you'd like to do, if you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business.
Hmm.
It really will. And yet you're not in business alone unless you choose to be. If you choose to get your membership and run on your own and do everything on your own, and just help your team and not be involved in anything else, it's your own business, but you don't have to be. There's tons of people that are willing to help you and support you outside of just the training.
Absolutely. I mean, Eric Carter, who I've had on now on here, and it was on the more of the crypto stuff, which was fun. But he's also been in gold and silver almost as, I think he signed up right after me. Not on our same leg. Nothing I do helps him. Nothing he does helps me. We're not. But he has been a help to me all these years. He's the one that turned me on to Mike Maloney videos. He's like, "What? You got to watch these," and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and I just dug into it. So,
Yeah.
and then again, like Tony Hubbard helped me. I mean, you've always been helpful, so there's always that. And then there's been other people along the way that Dana Nelson,
Yeah.
she's been helpful. She's been a friend at times for me. So there's, I could name so many people that were willing to do things for me that may or may not have benefited anything from it.
Right.
But yeah, but they
Yep.
did.
Some of the best friends I have in 7K Metals, we do the call on Thursdays, but it's Paula and Amanda Akers. You've had
Oh
her on.
yes, of course, Amanda. Yeah.
Yeah. And Wade and those guys, and they're nowhere on my leg. We don't, anything we do in business doesn't help the person out.
Yeah.
We just help each other out personally, and we're all really good friends and travel together and do shows together and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's a good deal.
Good old Amanda. She needs to come back to Montana.
I know, I love them.
There was something I was thinking of right before I had the interruption of the kid fight. Gosh, it'll come to me. I wanted to say it too because it was on the, I think what you were talking about with the how much you want to earn. Never mind, I can't remember what it was, Bonnie. Dang it.
Okay.
But I was mentioning on those brochures, they're really nice. If you and I don't give them to people. Like that's not something we like to do because they're a really nice book. But if you're not sure how to talk to people, not you, but a general person about this business, the two things I say are the only things you have to know to start is that you can buy gold and silver at the best price and you can earn an income doing it. But that booklet is perfect because it just talks about, oh man, just the amount of debt people are definitely in now. Like you said, we're trying to help people. Oh, I remember, yeah, they kind of, people thought it was kind of like a hoax in the beginning when I was trying to introduce this as a job. But I think now that we're 9 months later and people still are out of work and struggling, this is something that is they're taking more seriously. I think it's starting to be like, okay, you still have that job. I'm going to check it out more seriously. And that's what's nice about those brochures is you can just flip through that and follow along with that, kind of like we used to do with the PowerPoint. If you could just click a button and point at the screen and read a few of those words,
Mm-hmm.
that's all you had to do.
Yeah, and tell a story,
Yeah,
I mean, stories. But, and you think about it too. I mean, when people look at network marketing in general, and there's health and wellness, and there's beauty, and there's all that stuff, and like Rodan and Fields, well, like you say, you love their product.
yeah,
You use the product, and you get it at a lower price
right.
because you are, involved in it, right?
Yep,
And that's awesome. But you're not going to buy tens of thousands of dollars of Rodan and Field product to keep at your house. Where when you're buying our product, every product that you buy from 7K Metals is an asset at a different value at any given day. And so you're not ever garage qualified in stuff that's going to either expire or you're never going to use or it makes you break out. And so
yeah,
it's like you really are in a business of why not give it a shot? Because I still, at the end of the day, if I get my membership and try it for 1 year and it's not for me, I get that, but you still have a whole bunch of silver in your
right.
possession.
And
You
sadly,
still,
I did have somebody recently go, yeah, I canceled my membership because I was in there for a year and all I got are these coins every month. And I was like, great. Like, I think someday you're going to really appreciate that. Sorry you don't today, whatever. But all I
yeah,
got was these coins every month. And I'm like, okay.
yeah,
That tells
right?
me that maybe the understanding is just not there. Regardless, it's gold and silver. And that's the other thing is I was telling, me and my dad are in this business, and I know you know that, but I'm telling everybody else that my dad's in the business too. And one of the things that we were talking about is I've been liking the variety coin that we get every month, but now I'm like we should probably switch to silver eagles because silver eagles are so hard to find. That right
Mm-hmm.
now, even though they're like when I say even though they're MS70s, what that means is they're actually collectible. It's a higher premium, but I'm like it's at least I can't buy it in stacks like in a tube, but
Mm-hmm.
it's silver eagles, so we might want to
Yeah.
switch over to those for a couple months or buy
Yeah. See,
both.
I beefed up mine. I didn't switch back. I had every single, so I joined in April of 17 and they didn't start the variety until that fall, September, October. And I had every single variety coin every single month until this last year in March when I chose to drop down to the Eagle because I wanted more of the State Series coins.
Right.
So I ended up doing more of the Silver Eagles than I did before, and now I'm kind of glad about that.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
can't get them.
No.
That's what I was thinking. How fast things can change. Like they can
Mm-hmm.
change just overnight, and suddenly, like I'm like, well, I don't think I want variety coin anymore. I think I want silver eagles because they're hard to come by, and they're maxed out. And other, I just can't believe they're maxing out at $300. Like that's not even. You could get a 10th ounce piece of gold, but I don't know how they're getting away with. I don't know what they're doing about that. And yeah, people are complaining, not complaining, but if they're not a member, and I send them to my site, they're like, "You don't have anything." I'm like, "But we do. You just don't. You got to be a member to get it."
Right, exactly. Well, and even if you talk about the max they're putting like on JM Bullion, say that you can only buy 300. Well, but then if your price break isn't till 50, I mean, you're
Yeah,
still going to be able to buy what you can buy to get a price break on their max,
yeah, no
which is
price
crazy.
breaks.
Nope. Yeah. And I think my husband and I think we get, I want to say six, six or I think we get 9 of each state coin.
Hmm.
I think that's what we have because it was going 2 months. And so we were getting extras.
Right, that's right.
Um, yeah. And we kind of pared down a little bit, but I was like, oh, they're still great. It's like, they're great. So yeah. And, and, and it was funny because before this all happened in January, I was like, I was listening to a guy and I was saying, I really want to buy some 2021 Silver Eagles because right now the design is the old design.
Yeah, it still
But
is.
sometime this year, it's going to switch to the new design. And now that they've shut down, there's such a limited quantity of 2021 Eagles in the old design that they're going to be kind of like the 1999 Eagles.
I thought about that for 2022, 2020 also, not
Yes,
2022. Thought
yes.
about that as well for 2020 because we did have a silver shortage because of COVID, and they did have to produce emergencies. So I bought both emergencies, San Francisco and Philadelphia. I was like, no way am I missing out on that. I didn't care. I think for the Philadelphia, I got a Trump label one, so it was like $300. Don't care. Paid for it because I'm like, this is going to be worth. I think the last time they did an emergency mint like that, just the MS69 was worth like $800 or $900, and that was back in, I think, 2015 was the last time. So this is very recent. So those
Mm-hmm.
are going to jump up. I'm not the big collector, but I see those things and I'm like, okay, this is going to be like that. And I think you're right about the 2021s because me and my dad were talking about that just last night, and he's like, these 2021s are coming out and they've got the same design, and I was like, yeah, but I
Mm-hmm.
already got the 2020s. But now that you're saying that, the 2021s might even be more rare.
I know. I was planning on buying a tube in January, and you just can't get a hold of them. And then now, while you're getting them, I mean, when we bought tubes back in the day, it was like 300 and some dollars. Now they're $730 a tube. It's nuts, but
You could
you
get
know,
2021s in MS70 though.
right, right, yeah. But I don't know when they'll switch over to the new design. And now who knows what they're going to do with this whole stopping and shortage and everything in the squeeze. And so it's like you don't know. But I was like, I did good on 2020s, but I'd really like some more 2021s before they change it because I think if they only do them, maybe they don't even do them any longer. Maybe they go right to the new design, and then that's not very many 2021 Eagles that were produced.
Great point. And that while I don't know that we have 2021 MS70s, you can get them. And so one thing I tell people is that you can buy from other companies. Just because you're part of 7K doesn't mean you can't go get something somewhere else. There's a couple I've bought from, especially when it comes to the gold backs, because we don't have them. So if I want gold backs, I got to buy from another company. It's just how it is. So certainly
Hmm.
nothing wrong with going somewhere else and buying something, but again, keep it under $300 if you're going to APMEX or JM Bullion.
Yeah, yeah. And I went and bought a few fractionals, and mostly because I was going to make some more necklaces. And then when the price went crazy, I was like, I want more fractionals. And we didn't have any in our site. And, they were doing a lot of different stuff. But, it's just diversification. It's not like we all shop at the same grocery store every single day and never go anywhere
Well,
else,
yeah, I
right?
don't just go to Costco because I have a membership there.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I can buy
But
wholesale at the best price at Costco, but I don't even go there that often.
right. Exactly. So, I mean,
Not
it's
true for
still,
7K though. I definitely buy more from 7K than anybody else. And speaking of fractionals, I got one of the last combi bars they sold on 7K. It popped up one day and there was 3 of them. And I bought one of them and I was like, and I paid 90 for the first one and I think I paid 150 for that one, and I was like, I don't care. I
oh,
don't care.
wow. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
paying 150 for it.
Well, and I put on my necklace, and then I was looking at some of the prices today before the after hours thing comes up,
Hmm.
and the 1 gram gold was 83, and I remember buying my last 1 gram because I liked collecting like the pandas and stuff, and the one
Right.
gram, which had been there for a while, but they were $51 when I was buying mine.
Yep, I remember that because that was when I first started and I was going to prove 7K wrong, that they didn't have the best price all the time. And I think I spent way too long, almost 6 months, trying to prove that we didn't have the best prices, only to find out that we always did. But one time I found, and I'm talking in real time, and apples to apples, not oranges to apples. And I found that we were selling that gram for like 55 at the time. There was another place I went and I got through checkout. I went to checkout. I didn't put in like credit card information yet, and it had me at 111. I was like literally double the price for 1 gram of gold if I bought it through that company. And that's
Yep.
when I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done trying to prove 7K wrong. I mean, that's just they're clearly the best prices.
Yeah, I've researched it a lot. I check prices all the time, and it's It's great. And like right now, it's hard to explain to everybody with the premiums. I mean, there's just you can't explain it away. It's what's happening right now, and that's
Everybody's
all.
going through it.
Yep.
The premiums are higher. So if you want a Silver Eagle at Amex, you're going to pay 41 or something like that. Ours is
Mm-hmm.
39, still
Yeah.
cheaper.
Yeah. But to liquidate with JM to sell to them, it's a 28-day waiting period right now. Where if you want to get your gold and
Wow.
silver for metals, you click the button and they'll make it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's
It's 28
instantaneous.
with JM because they're just so backed up.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I didn't have a bunch of questions planned out because, like I said, it's just usually easy, especially with people I know. Like, I've known you now for quite a while. It's easy to just have a conversation. But is there anything you may have wanted to mention that we didn't get to?
Hmm.
Not putting you on the spot. It's just maybe there was something you wanted to talk about and we didn't get to it.
No, I think, for me personally, being 7K metals has changed my life for one. For two, for any of your listeners that are 7K metal members, if they're new members or whatever they're doing, and for you, it's like, you, in every part of your life, you always have to kind of jumpstart yourself. Is your cup half full or half empty?
Hmm.
And I think for me, what it's done for me personally is not only do I dive back into a lot of the training in 7K metals, but I realize the personal development side that I've started to pick up and the books I've started to read and the audibles I've started to listen to is just a whole second side of 7K metals for me.
Right.
Because if you want to make friends and get people to believe in what you're doing, you have to have something to bring to the table as far as a person, and you have to be a little more solid and not flaky. And so I think when you start feeling like, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, you kind of come back and do that personal development. And I think that's been good for me, to know that I need to stay focused and keep myself in the right direction in order to do 7K metals and
Yeah.
to make friends and grow myself and my business.
And since and speaking on that, if you feel like you don't know what to say or you're not getting it out right, utilize one of us. Bonnie's available. She'll be a third party call, and the reason that helps, guys, is because the person, for whatever reason, might be interested talking to us, but for instance, like James just had a guy, and sorry to put you out there like this, James, but James had a guy and he was sure. He's like, I think he'll sign up. And I said, well, let's get him on the phone on a three-way call. Because I just, there's something about that seals the deal for these people. I'm not sure if they, it's not that they don't believe the person that they're talking to. I think it's just getting somebody else to qualify what you're saying. So, like, if James had gotten me on the phone, I would have been like, James knows what he's talking about. And
Yep.
can I answer any questions for you? James is awesome. He knows what he's doing. And for some reason, that's really what clicks for people way better than if you just try to talk to him by yourself. Just works so much better to get one of us. And it doesn't have to be me, it can be Bonnie. We can get Tony for you. He's done it for a lot of us. We're always there for anyone, even if you're not on our leg or our downline. We'll do it. I've done it for people that aren't on my leg. Who cares? I know it's all going to help us in the end anyway.
Well, and it's also that little bit of validation that it's not just coming from me and this person only has to believe me. If you get
Right.
one other person involved and they tell their story and how they did it or it changed their
Yeah.
life, or how they're making money or how they're being successful or how much money they're putting into gold and silver, it's just that validation of it's just not one voice. It's more voices and it's somebody that's done it. So it's super helpful, for sure.
James is setting me straight. He said they did talk with Tony Hubbard. Well, then that guy just doesn't know what just doesn't know what he's doing then.
Yeah.
If he didn't sign up after talking with Tony Hubbard, you probably don't
Oh,
want him to.
yeah.
It might be the
Yeah.
painful guy that then blames you when nothing goes right. I'm like, yeah, forget it. I don't need that. But
Yeah.
anyway, I think that I tell people that my friend Bonnie Parman did me a huge favor by telling me on one of the worst days of my life that I should get into business with her and not being afraid. So bless you for that. And that's a lesson that everyone can take from your book. Don't be afraid of those people saying no, because I had every right to even be mad that she even brought it up. But I like her, and I wasn't. And I was glad that she did it. And so while we'll have a lot of no's, while we'll have a lot of angry people or just irritated or maybe just not that nice, we'll have the couple of yeses that really matter and change somebody's life.
Right. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And I know that was a rough day for you, but I have to tell you, the way that you've grown in your spiritual life and in your professional life and doing this channel and doing all that you do, I'm super proud of you. You've come a long way, baby.
Thank you, and praise the Lord for that too. I give him the glory, but he uses me. So I don't keep myself out of that loop. And I thank you for recognizing it. It's it's nice. It's nice to know that people notice. So it sucks to, I mean, the bummer is 4 years ago I was such a hot mess and irresponsible, but the great thing is this company really helped me get get more responsible, and so I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, Bonnie.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I love you. I love your girls. I love that they come to my home. I love that you help your girls learn about gold and silver and that you help them learn how to
Definitely.
work money. And you're a great example to them. And to be able to sing up in front of a church in front of so many people, you say you can't speak, but you can sing.
Yeah, I know.
I
It still
witnessed.
scared me. Yeah, I know.
I,
You're so sweet, and it still scared me because I would get up there and be so nervous. But that's when I'd have to go. This isn't about me. I'm singing for the Lord. And yes, my good friend Bonnie came and watched me sing one time and brought me flowers, and it was just heartwarming. So this is a long time friendship that I look forward to many more years of. And whether it's gold and silver or not, I'm just glad we have a connection for life.
yeah, me too. I super love that you had me on here. I think it's really awesome and I appreciate it. And
We
you know,
should
I
do it
love you.
again.
We should do it again.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you go on with the rest of your night. I appreciate you and love you, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Erin.
Peace. Good night.
Bye.
I'm hanging up, I think. There we go. Guys, thank you so much for listening, for all the people that stuck it out or enjoyed it. Hopefully enjoyed it, not just had to stick it out. I saw the chat was so nice and busy. I love that. Hard for me to keep track when we're actually talking, but if there was any questions I missed, please email at ladyliberty@countermail.com, or even better yet, you can join the Discord channel and you can talk to all of us in there, and you don't have to just email me, because there's a whole bunch of us that are very interested in getting to know people, helping them out, and making more friends. Because that's what this is about. Is it's not just about gold and silver and earning paychecks. It's about helping others and getting that network of friends that trust you and love you. And I'm so grateful that that's what the Discord has become for me. That's what 7K Metals has done for me. So I love you guys more than you know, and I thank Abba Father, Yahuwah, for bringing you to me. So Kenny says this looks like bigger money. Don't want to say what I'm doing too much. Oh, don't know what that is. Okay. But anyway, all right, that wasn't a question. Love y'all. Peace and love of the Lord. You have a blessed night, and I will see you tomorrow night for the Solomon Report. Be there.
So real when we're young, a table full of family for years, heartbreak, a song that we've both sung, a minor tune that tells a bit of tears, but I won't be a friend who flees. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your God will be my God. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your God will be my God. like a lightning flash so bright, a tragedy transformed in front of me.